سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح تنهدى يا صاحي كي تستريح وبث الدعاء الخفي
نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الدين نصيحة. So here we have a hadith where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam explains that deen, meaning religion, the religion of Islam, is nasiha. Now when we say what nasiha is, now nasiha normally we understand in a sort of day-to-day use is to give advice or give good counsel, to instruct other people to do good. It does mean that, however, primarily the word is more for sincerity, that religion is based on, or the religion of Islam is based on sincerity. And what sincerity means is that there is consistency and there's a match between the tongue and the heart. So when an individual is sincere, then his tongue and his heart are together. They are unanimous, they are joined. The tongue speaks what's inside the heart. The heart confirms what's on the tongue. So this is what sincerity is. And when we lack sincerity, then you find that the tongue says one thing, but the heart is saying something completely different. And this is where we, unfortunately then, where the seeds of hypocrisy are sown, and then nifaq creeps into the heart once there is a lack of sincerity. And when nifaq creeps into the heart, then we start to go towards hypocrisy, and nifaq in the heart can unfortunately lead then to lack of faith. And then lack of faith starts to this vacuum, because the heart can't stay as a vacuum. This vacuum starts to get filled. And unfortunately, it starts to get filled with kufr, until eventually there is no link between the heart and the tongue. The tongue is a free spirit, it's a free beast to say and lash out as it chooses, to whom it chooses. And the heart is something which starts to die. Because the heart is something which has to be kept alive, and the way it's kept alive is with iman. And we see as well that, they mention in the ayah in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that when one makes a tawbah, it should be one which is nasuha, yani one which is with sincerity, where a person is not going to sin again. The person is quite clear in their heart that this is not something they will do again in the future. As for the other meanings of nasiha, then nasiha means good counsel, giving good advice. Meaning that when a person comes to ask you something, that rather than say something which you're trying to undermine them or trying to lead them down the wrong path, give them good advice. And the best type of advice a person can give is when they don't know the advice to give, is to say, I don't know. We have a habit of speaking and saying and advising people when we ourselves are drowning. The metaphor is that we're giving our kind of life jacket to somebody when we ourselves need that life jacket. Or we're trying to teach somebody how to swim and we don't know how to swim ourselves. So somebody may come to us about seeking advice about, say, their marriage. A sister might come to a lady asking her that, look, this is my scenario with my husband. What should I do? Or a brother might go to see a bloke and ask him that, look, this is my situation with my wife. What shall I do? Now, the person that they've approached is also in a situation with their husband or wife. So they themselves are in a difficult situation in their own relationship. So when this person starts to advise, then how is that advice going to be useful? Because and there's going to be sincerity behind that advice. Because if there was sincerity behind that advice, then the advice that this person is sharing with this other person would be something that they would have acted upon it themselves. Because if they think this advice is worthwhile and useful, then surely the first person who benefits from good advice is the person who's giving it. Because unfortunately our intentions are wrong. We're just trying to pry into people's lives, find out what's going on. We're trying to position ourselves as people of intellect, or position ourselves as people who know how to sort things out, so we can get the praises of the people and the pats on the back, when really that's not what it's about. So deen, Rasulullah mentions, ad-deenu nasiha, yani the deen itself is sincerity. Sincerity towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we have another narration in Muslim, if I'm not mistaken, Sahih Muslim, in which Rasulullah explains to whom one should express their nasiha, lillah, wa li kitabihi, wa li rasulihi, or kama qal, and then to the people, then it says amatihim, the general people. So this is about being sincere. So sincerity is something we should seek. The religion is sincerity. You cannot, claim to be a true follower of Islam if you are insincere. And sincerity, the way we are sincere, we have, depending on who we're being sincere to or insincere to, has different levels. Like I mentioned in the hadith, our relationship towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what type of sincerity must we have? The book of Allah. We try to bring Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala into our arguments to prove a point or to establish authority for ourselves. Yet we ourselves are not following those principles. So where's the sincerity there? We try to prove somebody wrong from the book of Allah or from the saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yet we ourselves are not acting upon the book of Allah and the sayings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So where's the sincerity there? We advise other people to do good, and yet we're not reproaching ourselves. We're not committing to good ourselves. So our whole basis of our religion is on sincerity. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيم الفسيح.